Shall we start, ma'am?
Yes, please.
Nice. Good evening, all. Today we're going to start with choleric parenting style, page number 16. Choleric parent is the center of the family. Everything that happens is related in some way to the needs or deeds of this parent. Everyone else in the family tends to give up his or her own wishes in service to the choleric head of the household. When projects are started, everyone has to jump in. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, you are. Someone was speaking in the background. Continue.
Okay. Sorry for the interruption. When projects are started, everyone has to jump in and take part. Nothing is ever done on a small scale. When out of balance, the choleric parent dominates through personal power. His or her agenda overrides everything else. It is my way or the highway. Consequences are clearly stated and followed through on with no negotiation. Often the spouse and the children learn how to manage the moods and the temper of the choleric parent, giving in to his or her demands and then quietly getting on with their own agendas, while the choleric parent is so absorbed in self and that this dynamic is not even perceived. However, when perceived, the choleric feels very hurt, still oblivious to what his or her own behavior has created. Choleric
Thank you. Thank you. We'll just wait here, Pavitra.
Ma'am.
Now, I want everyone to scroll the page back up a little bit and look at the characteristics of a choleric temperament, right? So high energy, taking charge type, often enjoys good health, want to get the job done. They are self-starters, does not always understand why others cannot keep up. Strong will forces, a go-to type of person, a leader, can be a know-it-all and sometimes a bully. So in danger of having a fiery temper. Now, when you look at a choleric parenting style, we are talking about choleric being the predominant one single temperament that is dominant as a parent. And let's take it very slow. We don't have to rush through and finish the book because the objective here is to understand myself as an individual and my own temperament so I can understand others. Is everyone okay with that? It's about almost 100 pages and we are only on 16th page. We may take another 2 months to go through it. Yeah. Great. So when we look at when we understand, or even head level understanding, intellectually we understand that cholerics are the go-getters, tendency to be very dominant, a fiery character. And we are also assuming they may not be in total balance. See, when choleric is the dominant character, all other three temperaments play a dormant roles. So the choleric, if they have equal amount of phlegmatic in them, like water element and the fire element, there's some kind of a balance that can be established. But if it is only fire, now just imagine how it happens. Right? So this paragraph is telling you in some way, everything has to be according to the parent, whether it's mother or father, it doesn't matter. It has to be according to them. And everybody has to stop doing whatever they are doing and pitch in to do this project. That is my project. You cannot question it. You cannot ask where it is going. How long will it take? Is it worth spending that much money or time on it? Nothing. It's my project. It has to be done this way. And everyone has to pitch into that. Else, fiery character dominates, and we always fear arguments in the family. We don't want restlessness in the family when one person is shouting there, everyone has shut up and they have to just sit. So imagine all that, and you are a child in that environment. How would you feel? And that's one scenario. The second scenario is you are that parent. You are that parent, very dominant. You may not even know that because you have a very good reason to doing what you're doing. So, and you have a great objective, and you can argue logically through it. But just for a second, imagine somebody being like you as your boss, and how would you feel? So we have to have this empathy, empathize in that situation, how somebody would feel. And is that what you want? Now, if you are a child or a spouse, what do you do in this situation? How can I assert without creating more anger in that other person, or convince that other person to change the project a little bit, slow it down a little bit, right? So the last sentence, however, when perceived, the choleric feels very hurt, still oblivious to what his or her own behavior has created. So whatever we say to stop them will be taken as hurt, or they may get more angry, but they're still oblivious. They still don't get it. They can't get it. They cannot step into the shoe of a melancholic or a phlegmatic or a sanguine. Right? Just understand that you don't have to do anything right now. You just understand that dominant person around you, how would they make you feel? All right. So go ahead, Pavitra.
Yes, ma'am. The choleric parent is in danger of bullying everyone in the family, becoming abusive and even physical, the tyrant instead of reward leader. When a choleric teacher stood behind her young students at an outdoor May festival, it was obvious that her presence was strongly felt by her students. The children were sitting quietly on the grass, well behaved, and listening to a concert of their older schoolmates. Two little boys sat close to each other, quietly pulling up little bits of grass and with small toes of the wrist, flipping the grass on each other's knees. They did not look at one another or make a sound. No one saw them but the teacher and me. She cleared her throat and said, "Boys," in such a way that a shudder went right through their bodies and souls. I could see them fold in upon themselves and shut down. I said to the teacher, "Lighten up," and she replied that their behavior was not allowed. It was not the words she had said, but the powerful impact of invalidation that went into the children. This is an example of a negative quality of this temperament out of balance.
Yeah, thank you. This last sentence is very important. It's not being choleric is bad. And the word bad is not right. Or it has any problems. But it is the out of being out of balance is the problem. In Sanskrit, when everything is in sync, we say prakriti. And when it goes out of balance, it's called vikriti. Something not aligned. It's like I want to go to Delhi from Bangalore, but I'm heading towards Sri Lanka. Right? It's like opposite. We are not getting to what I want, even though their objective is very, very of high value, very objective, very much needed for the society, for the people. But still, if there is an out of balance choleric, out of control fire, that will burn it down. We know fire is essential, very essential for processing my thoughts within my own body, processing my thoughts, processing the food I eat, keeping me warm. I need it, but I cannot run crazy with it. And how does it go out of balance? The environment. The child may be throwing tantrum in the beginning, and then we many places, I've seen in my own family, one of my relatives supremely high temper. So the whole family is like, oh, don't say anything, he will get angry. And that gives them power. They think, I'm powerful. I just shout and everybody shuts down. And they take pride in that. So we have allowed them to get more and more choleric, more and more out of balance. So it boils down to, as a parent or as a teacher in the classroom, it boils down to creating the environment not only for myself, but for my children too. Any questions about the choleric parenting style? All right, you can continue, Pavitra.
Yes, ma'am. Phlegmatic parenting style. This type of parent is in the water zone, either drawing into him or herself or spreading out over everything. Easygoing, unruffled, loves comfort and food, satisfying daily needs. Nothing is a big issue or a problem. Always put off today what you can easily do tomorrow is a phlegmatic's motto. This temperament can border on laziness and passive apathy on the one side to being steadfast, consistent, and thorough on the other. The flip side of this temperament is the choleric. When the phlegmatic is pushed too hard or too fast, he or she will turn around with choleric ferocity. It is often difficult to ascertain whenever a person is actively resisting action or is a true phlegmatic. Another negative trait is
All
that
right,
of
we'll just wait here.
Yes,
We'll just wait after each paragraph unless it's too easy, yeah?
yeah, ma'am.
Okay. So here we are looking at a parent who is very easygoing. Daddy, I want to teacher has sent a note for you to sign. We'll look at it tomorrow. Is it important now? Can I look at it tomorrow? And the child doesn't know. And enough times it gets pushed out. You could say procrastinating. Unruffled, Daddy, I failed in the exam. That's okay. You'll do better next time. Loves comfort and food. Oh, there is school serving big meal. Let's all go feast. Family may not like it, but they would be lazy for that also, though, because they have to get up and go. They would rather have the food at home. Nothing is a big issue or a problem. This is fantastic, if they don't get bothered by any of the problems, even big things, But if there is, like, I failed, fine. Second year I failed, fine. Third year I failed, fine. But then somewhere the parent has to pick up and say, hey, why are you failing? Is there anything I can do? Do you need additional help? That is what a parent's supposed to be doing to the child. But if everything is okay, I have a cousin like that. He doesn't bother one bit about how the family is doing. His wife was sick one time. She had terrible fever and whatnot. She wakes up one morning and she says, I really can't do anything today. He said, never mind, take rest. and he went out, he ate, and who will cook for her? Who will take care of her? Who will make a cup of coffee for her? Nobody. He doesn't care about that. And she can go off on months anywhere. He doesn't bother about that as well. So there is the convenient side. There is also stagnancy that comes in. The opposite, like I told you for choleric, the polar opposite of choleric is phlegmatic. Same way for phlegmatic, it is choleric. They balance each other out. So when phlegmatic is pushed too hard, they can become more phlegmatic, which means more stagnant, or they can just flare up. It's like, I was reading about this, I think it came up on Facebook or something. I don't really remember which country, but between two big mountains, there was the river flowing, and they picked up a very narrow ledge to build a dam. They built dam so strong that because they could save on the money, they had to build this dam in a V shape. So with less money, they could hold back more water, whatever. But the water kept building the pressure, right? And the dam was super duper strong. Dam did not break in, but the mountains on the side broke in. The whole mountain collapsed into the dam, creating a tsunami-like effect, drowning villages on either side. Nothing happened to the dam. There was very least damage done to the dam. But that is kind of potential that the water holds, the phlegmatic holds. So we cannot let them become super lazy, super stagnant. Again, that will be the environment that we will create for them. All right, Pavitra.
Yes, ma'am. Another negative. Am I audible, ma'am?
You are. I think
No.
Shobha has unmuted. Shobha, do you have a question?
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am.
We are not able to hear you clearly.
Ma'am,
Can
I
you type
have one question
Yeah.
regarding this. We can, though they are lethargic, hope so they may find the easy way. No? Is it,
See, they're not.
ma'am, is it audible?
Yeah, you are audible. See, sanguines are those kind. They are lazy to do work, but they'll find an easy way out to do it quickly or delegate it. Now, phlegmatic people, they're okay. It's not a problem for them. So why should they find a way out? They're okay with dirty house. They're okay, sometimes even okay with not working to earn. If someone is feeding them, they're fine. We say, how
Yes.
can you not have self-respect? Why can't you just get up and go do something? But it's okay for them.
Yes.
That is the extreme
That means-
example I'm giving.
Yeah, for all the situation, they are okay.
Yeah. So for many things, if they are okay, that is fine. It will work. But for something where it is affecting people around them, it is affecting their health and well-being, then they must have some element of choleric in them. Because they have potential. See, they have potential in them to do tremendous work. Somewhere I had read Gandhiji was of phlegmatic temperament. Huge potential in them, provided they wake up the choleric element in them, they wake up the melancholic element in them, and start performing. But what we are
That means they need encouragement. They need encouragement, ma'am, or
Yes.
something, some force.
Yes. Yes, phlegmatics do need a purpose. See, Gandhiji, I don't think anybody motivated him. But the situations that he saw, he got internally motivated. So a strong desire or purpose that comes from choleric element,
Yeah.
right? So, but here we are talking about
Yes.
a phlegmatic element, a predominant phlegmatic element.
Mm.
So if it is predominantly phlegmatic, then all other elements are playing a very dormant role. So there is not enough of choleric in them, not enough of sanguine in them or melancholic in them. So they're more
Yes.
water element itself. Make sense?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, Pavitra.
Yes, ma'am. Another negative trait is that of self-satisfaction. The phlegmatic makes little effort to do the necessary work in the faculty, in school, or in the family at home. A picture of a fat, over-indulged emperor sitting on a throne comes to mind. It is important to remember that in this modern, fast paced, multitasking world, we all need to become somewhat phlegmatic for our own sakes as well as for that of our children. Patience and the inner tranquility are the marks of a true phlegmatic. The tortoise wins the race through unrelenting perseverance and the inner self assurance. Who does not need more of this in their lives?
Perfect. Perfect. So this is where, there could be a negative trait, but if there is that unrelenting perseverance and inner self-assurance, where the phlegmatic does not need external motivation to wake them up and do things, is when they are at their peak performance. And the author also is telling here that in this modern world, we are all running fast. Even the phlegmatics are made to run fast and they're angry. The opposite polarity is awakened, um, and they flip to the other side. But if we can muster that phlegmatic element in us, slow down a bit, do one job at a time, focusing on it, and reflect on what we are doing. Is this the right way I am running in? Is this the right direction I want to go into? Question it, develop that phlegmatic element to become that slow, lethargic for some time. It is going to help us quite a bit, is what he's trying to tell over there. Yeah. Kavit?
Shall I start, ma'am?
Yes, yes, please.
A few years ago, a teacher told me about a girl in a first grade class who was a phlegmatic temperament. The child had a sunny, easygoing disposition and enjoyed school. The child's mother shared that after learning how to knit, the child's favorite pastime at home was to sit in a little rocking chair knitting a scarf, which quickly became 6 feet long and growing, and singing to herself about everything she was going to eat for dinner. Now, this is a happy, phlegmatic child. A teacher once shared with me that a colleague of hers drove her crazy sometimes because of his phlegmatic, slow paced, lethargic temperament. It's like pushing a boulder uphill. But she also said that she greatly valued the same colleague because he kept the entire faculty from making hasty decisions that were not first carefully thought through. He always took his time to fully digest every proposal before giving his opinion or acting upon it.
All right, thank you. So this kind of sums it up, The child is happily knitting, not worried about how long um, the scarf has become, just knit and knit and knit because she enjoys it. The same thing if the child is an adult doing it and we keep wondering, what is she doing? Doesn't she have any other work to do? Because for child it's okay, right? So now to balance or to create the environment where the child is just not knitting away, but also to make her knit maybe a broader scarf, maybe another scarf that is also 6 foot long, and maybe join them together to make a blanket. So then it becomes purposeful. So then she can visualize the outcome that she's going to produce by doing this activity, which is what cholerics run after. So you build that, you help the child develop a bit of that other temperament when you notice it in the young child. The second one is also beautiful. He's, somebody who's lazy, somebody who questions you for everything, will definitely drive us crazy. But then he is keeping the faculty from making hasty decisions, something that we have not thought through completely. So his questioning may be irritating to us. He's not giving his opinion or his suggestion. He's just being okay with anything, maybe irritating us. But sometimes because of his slowness, we come to right decisions. So there are going to be this mixed bag of things. Sometimes we like it, sometimes we hate it. But when we understand their temperament, we don't become impatient when we're dealing with a phlegmatic person. But we use a bit of a knack to get them involved, give them the time, let them take time to involve and participate, because we trust they're going to help us make better decisions, right? Because they are going to take their full time available to them, or more than that, to digest every proposal before they act on it. That's why they need all the details. Melancholics are also like that. You will see that a bit. So there is bit of melancholic and phlegmatic together. In Ayurveda, melancholic, the earth element and water element together is clubbed as kapha element. The sanguine becomes vata element and choleric becomes pitta element. So in Ayurveda, we have only three temperaments, vata, pitta, and kapha. But they also have combinations. These are pure single temperament. Then they have combinations, two, vata, pitta, or pitta, vata. There's a difference. Vata, pitta is sanguine dominant. Second element is choleric. Pitta, vata is choleric element is dominant, and sanguine is low key. So they have combinations, and eventually they have all three in balance. So there are like 7 different types of personalities that's considered if we have to take a parallel from what we are doing here to Ayurveda, because most of these our languages have these Ayurvedic knowledge or terms embedded in our language, in the way especially our grandparents, some elderly people on the rural side speak of. And you can relate and compare and develop your own interpretations about this. Yeah, so we'll stop here for today. Any questions?